Hi, my name is Colton Holler. This is my very first YouTube video. So please excuse me if it doesn't come out so great. I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a split ring like this one here. Just your average little split ring out of a paperclip. Nothing special about it, just a large paperclip. So, without further ado, I'll show you guys what you need and how to do it. By the way, if you don't know what a split ring is used for, the way that it works is it's what you use to attach your treble hook to the body of your lure. And you do that by having this right here is called an eye screw. That is attached to the main part of your body of your lure, and then you have your split ring. This one is off of a big musky bait that was just kind of torn up, so I just took the split ring and treble hook off of it, and then you slide your treble hook right onto your split ring. The split ring works like a keychain, or key ring actually, sorry. And another way that it's used is on this is a Topwater Savage Gear wrap. And the way that it's used is this walks back and forth. So that helps the action be a little bit wider and a little bit more erratic. And this also, same thing with like this jerk bait or a crankbait, just gives it a little bit better action. And that's what it's used for as far as for fishing. I think they also use them on necklaces, but they aren't made to be as strong as they would be for fishing, obviously. Okay, so for this is very simple. Don't need a lot of tools. Most of the tools here are just to make it a little easier. First thing you're going to need is just a little hammer, at least one pair of vice grips. You'll see later on the video what I use this pair of vice grips for. You're going to need a pair of pliers. You don't need these specifically, but all you need is some with wire cutter on it. And also, these will work fine because these are fairly thin at the top of it, so I can use these easily. But these are very small at the tips, just for working in really small areas if you have to. Those come in handy. This right here is just a nail. This is a fairly thick nail. You can use a smaller one if you want a smaller in diameter split ring, but I just use mine, and that kind of determines the thickness of your split ring. And that is just driven through a piece of plywood, and it's clamped down to this work table with two C-clamps. And I've also dented in the tip of it just so that it wasn't super sharp, just in case if I were to fall forward. It'd still probably hurt me pretty bad, but maybe a little less now. Now, to make your split ring, you're going to take your paper clip, you're going to just bend out the paper clip. Don't bend it out too much because I'm not sure, if you bend it out a whole lot, it might weaken it, which would result in very bad things, possibly losing a fish of a lifetime. And you're just going to clamp it down with your vice grips. You're going to wrap it once, and your first wrap isn't going to be the one that you use for your split ring because it's got to go up at an angle, if that makes sense. But your second wrap and your third wrap, you're going to want to make sure are very close together and are uniform. And after that, you just keep on trying to make uniform, tight wraps. And I usually make about, 4 or 5 of them, just because you aren't going to really be able to easily get 2 split rings out of one paper clip. So, after that, I'm just going to take my little tag in here. I'm going to take my wire cutters, cut it off as closely as I can. then I'm going to, this is where the second pair goes in. Because I've got these set so tightly, it's kind of hard to undo it with your fingers. You're just gonna take and clamp down on this little lever here. This is what releases it. When it's engaged, it's out like this. So I'm just gonna come over here like that and squeeze down on it. There it goes. Now, as you can see, the split ring just falls right down. This is kind of handy if you're making a lot of them and you want to make them fast. And you can go ahead and wrap them and just let them slide down, and then you can trim them up nicely after you're done. So, however many wraps you want, you're gonna look at your split ring and you're gonna say, okay, there's a kind of a big gap right there. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take everything on this side of the gap. On the other side, I'm just gonna kind of pull at it. It's kind of gonna come undone, kind of like a spring. This is where pliers could come in handy, because it's hard to really use your hands for that, just because of how tiny it is. Then you're just going to come in here and you're going to unfold it a little bit, get some elbow grease going. Now you have it like this. As you can see right there, you're just going to trim it off. About right there is pretty good. Oh, this one's actually might be a little bit closer to a double wrap, maybe. But now you've got your split ring. The tag ends are sticking up just a little bit there. And what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to slide it back on your nail. You're going to take your little hammer. You're just going to hold it in your hand against that nail, and you're just going to kind of tap it in. Maybe if they need to go down a little bit, just kind of tap them down and inwards. So, just so that they don't stick out quite as much. Now they're fairly round, and that's all there is to it. That's your split ring out of a paper clip. Now, I'm going to be doing a strength test in the next video. I'm going to be comparing them to these Eagle Claw split rings. They're number 4 size, and these are very cheap. Split rings aren't that expensive, I don't believe. At least not the ones made by Eagle Claw. But these might be a piece of junk for lure making. But yeah, that's pretty much all. I'll see you guys in the next video. If you have any constructive criticism or any ideas for my channel or anything like that, go ahead, put it down in the comments, and I'll see you on the next video.